Now I know it's been a very, very long time since I last uploaded. But let me explain. I wanted to try and wait until my car was fixed, because it wasn't fixed in the last video, but since then I basically did the thing you don't do with cars. I just replaced parts that might have been causing the issue. Also known as throwing parts at it, the issue being pretty poor throttle response and pretty slow acceleration, along with a weird sticky throttle sort of sensation, where it's held open for about half a second after I lift off. But it's super inconsistent, and also sometimes it'll just lurch forward when I'm coasting. That's pretty cool. Totally not dangerous at all. Anyway, when I say slow acceleration, I really mean slow. The car is rated from factory at 7.9 seconds to 100 k's an hour.
In reality, it's probably quicker, but PSA didn't want the Citroen to be faster than the Peugeot.
And yet, when I try and do a run, it takes upwards of 10 seconds. That ain't it. I've found out that it seems to sort of fix itself and have good throttle response for like 10 seconds if I restart the engine after shutting it off. This points to a couple of things. Could be a vacuum leak, maybe the ECU resets its fuel trims when you shut the ignition off, or it could be low fuel pressure, which is what I initially thought, because it seemed like I had to wait for the fuel pump to click off and properly pressurize the fuel rail, but it seems now, after testing it a bit, I actually don't have to do that, so it might be some sort of electrical issue. I don't know. Either way, here's a clip showing it off. So here's how it currently responds, just one tap of full throttle. One more time. That one was a bit quicker, but you get the point. We switch it off. Ignition off. Ignition back on. The fuel pump prime. And then start it. And rev it. Much more responsive now. That's the same thing, one full throttle tap. And now we wait a bit longer, and as you can see, it's come back down again. Back down to how it was. Yeah. So, after a lot of not figuring out what the problem is, I decided I'm going to get it diagnosed professionally by a mechanic, because I simply don't have the facilities or experience to diagnose it. What have I replaced so far though? This big list here. I also replaced the brake booster, since the old one had an internal vacuum leak. I would have made a video on it because of how painful it was, but it didn't fix the issue. It did make the brake pedal feel a lot better though. It now has a very light feel at the start of the pedal travel, and then it gets much harder to push as you get further down the travel. So it's like when you get more pressure applying more of a clamp load on the rotors, it makes the pedal a lot harder to push, and it makes it way easier to do heel and toe and way easier to modulate in heavy braking. And then since you've got that little area at the top where it's still pretty easy to press and pretty light, it's actually still an easy car to go around town, and you don't have to like do a leg workout to slow the car down, which is nice. It is also apparently a phenomenon with a lot of French cars where they've got a little section at the top that's very light, and then all of a sudden the pedal just goes solid as you apply more clamping load on the rotors, which I think is pretty cool. It makes it a very tractable car, because you've got the light braking, which is light on the pedal as well, and then the heavy braking also has a heavy pedal, so you can modulate better, you can heel and toe better. I think it's a very, very good way to do a pedal in a sports car. But yes, that did not fix the issue. I also replaced the exhaust muffler, or the back box, right at the back of the exhaust tailpipe. More so because the old one sounded really sharty. Rather than because it might have fixed the issue. I can certainly say that the new one does sound quite a lot better though, although the iPhone mic in this following clip doesn't do it any favours. You can definitely hear the throttle issue I was talking about earlier in both of these clips though. But yeah, new exhaust definitely sounds great. I have to say though, after I recorded that clip on my phone, I didn't completely love it, but as time has gone on and I've heard it echo in tunnels, stuff like that, I can certifiably say it is pretty much exactly the sort of sound I wanted to get. It sounds like a proper competition car or something made to go fast rather than simply for the sake of being loud. Although of course at the moment it doesn't really go fast at all. But yeah, I sort of came around to it, I fell in love with it, and now whenever I see the guardrail ahead, you know, like right alongside the road, especially because the exhaust tip is on the left side of the car, I'll sort of just roll down the windows, go close, drop a couple of gears and just, you know, listen to the engine at the higher RPM because it does just sound really, really nice. But yeah, that's basically all the noteworthy stuff that's gone on in the past 9 months or so. Another reason I didn't post for almost the entire year is because uni has been pretty crazy. But that's all done for now, so I'm going to try and make a couple more videos this year. Before, like, Christmas and stuff, obviously. But yeah, hopefully in the next one, my car is actually quick. Wouldn't that be nice? Anyway, thanks lads, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.